When we think about everyday objects, I think that often it's become equated with the idea of objects that hold less value or are less worth researching. But for me, actually, everyday objects are some of the most exciting and interesting things that we can research. What are the things which we choose to surround ourselves with? What are the material supports for our lives? When we look at the everyday objects that are in people's lives, we begin to understand what they are interested in, what they value, what's important to them. I think that's some of the richest insight that you can get. As interesting as it is to look at the history of the rich and the royal, it's also really important that we document the lives of everyday people just like us. So what we actually have here is a gin bottle. This square-faced bottle probably has Dutch origins from around the 19th century. And one of the interesting things is that a lot of the time people seem to think that the world first came to Nigeria with the British military and then colonial project. But actually there was international connections far before this. In the 15th century, the Portuguese came to Nigeria and they were trading with Benin in woven textiles, in ivory, wood, and iron. For me, what's so interesting about these objects is the multiple meanings and multiple uses that they have. Just like the everyday funeral souvenirs, which I'm exploring in my own research, these objects are so interesting because the meaning that they have can't easily be seen just from the markings on the bottle or from their usage. It's about how it was used and why it was used and what meaning people centuries ago gave them. Of course, there is the utilitarian use. It was used to transport alcohol across the sea. But where we can also find gin bottles is often at shrines as well. We see sculptures and structures made out of stacked gin bottles, often in a circular formation. As we find these objects in shrines, we can start to think about the tendency we have as humans, and maybe the tendency we've always had, to bring meaning into the world around us and to the things that we have access to. Benin is such an interesting city. It has this really rich aesthetic, political, economic history. I think that the thing that makes MOWAA so special is just how intentional every part of the work is. From the archaeological and digital and curatorial teams here to the workers who are finishing the institute, I think that it's so clear that everyone is working towards a common goal, that they all want to see Benin's rich history, but also the history of West Africa and West African art given its rightful place and valued as it should be.